Hello, everybody under the blue moon. This is Pizza Pista with another video today. Today is going to be more of a rambling video, as some very interesting news came out. I'm sure most of you have heard already. Before we get started, I have to apologize for the text-to-speech instead of using my real voice. I've been very sick lately, like it's really bad, so my voice is not in the best condition for talking and discussing interesting news at the moment. Just a heads up and all that, but now we can get into today's video. So a few days ago on Twitter, it was announced by multiple sources that Kenan Thompson has confirmed that Good Burger 2 is currently in production after 25 years. Now this is just insane news to me. I was not expecting a sequel to the first Good Burger. I am a huge fan, as most of you probably know already judging from my channel, but I'm just so excited I had to make a video. Kenan Thompson had stated that a completed script has been finalized and that filming will be happening later at an unknown date, but it's likely that they will be beginning very soon. Right now we are left wondering what exactly this new movie will be about and if it will even be a sequel to the original Good Burger. So before we dive into any theories, I'll do a quick recap. Good Burger is a 1997 comedy created by Nickelodeon which stars Kenan Thompson and Kel Mitchell as protagonists Ed and Dexter. After getting in a fatal car accident with a science teacher in his parents' very expensive car, Dexter is forced to get a summer job at fast food place Good Burger to pay back the damages. The movie focuses on Dexter's relationships with Ed and Monique while the Good Burger fights to survive competition from newly populated restaurant Mondo Burger. It ends with the duo destroying Mondo Burger from the inside and a giant burger crushing Dexter's teacher's car and killing him. A sequel would most likely begin immediately after the ending of the original Good Burger, where Dexter returns to school after the summer ends during the Renaissance era of Mondo Burger being destroyed. Perhaps a new threat will be introduced to overthrow Good Burger, and so Dexter will have to join forces with the employees in order to save the business once again. I think it would be very interesting to have a previous side character from the last film now have the role of main villain, the obvious pick being one of, if not both of Kurt's henchmen who worked under him at Mondo Burger. Having two mere underlings rise up from Kurt's defeat and create a name for themselves as co-antagonists would be a nice spin and detour to take into a direct sequel. We see snippets of the advanced tech Mondo Burger uses to make their food, which only characters very close to Kurt would know how and be able to repurpose for their own restaurant. They may be doing it to get revenge for their boss who was arrested in the last film, or, maybe tired from the repeated abuse they suffered working under Mondo Burger, they attempt to create a chain larger than both burger joints. At least that's what I think. I just really want to see these two again. Another possibility is that this will be a time skip featuring all new characters. The obvious first thought would be Jimmy Fallon's character who works alongside Ed that appeared in the sketch which aired on The Tonight Show. However, it is unclear if this sketch served as just a celebration of the original movie or a hint at what is now going to be Good Burger 2. Kenan Thompson is present in this sketch but does not reprise his role as Kel Mitchell does as Ed, implying that Dexter does not exist, which directly contradicts his involvement in the original Good Burger. Secondly, in an article published by Entertainment Tonight about the announcement of Good Burger 2, a picture of Kenan Thompson embracing Kevin Hart is featured as the thumbnail. This could be a hint towards Hart's involvement with the movie, possibly as a new main character who follows the legacy left by Dexter and Ed at Good Burger. Should this rumor be true, it opens up the possibility of Dwayne Johnson joining the cast as well, as both Kevin Hart and The Rock have been featured in multiple movies where they star as co-protagonists, which would only make sense for a sequel involving successors of the previous protagonists. This only strengthens my theory of Kurt's henchmen being the new villains, as both duos would complement the movie's theme of two. This leads into my next topic: should there be a time skip after the events of Good Burger, how much later will it exactly be? Both Kel Mitchell and Kenan Thompson have aged noticeably since the first movie 20 years ago, making a time skip be a few decades at the earliest. Should the movie feature Kevin Hart and Dwayne Johnson, it would be interesting to see them have to seek guidance or even make a team with an older Dexter and Ed in some thematic strategy to defeat Kurt's henchmen, as well as being good fan service. As they say, 4 is more than 2. I would also be just as fine with Dexter and Ed. Something else worth mentioning is the future of Ed's special sauce. In Good Burger, Ed creates a sauce that re-sparks Good Burger's popularity with customers, and is also what very scones from Mondo Burger attempt to steal the recipe of. I would assume that at some point, Ed would try to patent the recipe of his special sauce and have it become a regularly distributed item nationwide, like Heinz ketchup and butter, making him a millionaire, which would make for some comedic irony. This is actually reminiscent to the plot of the novel Good Burger 2 Go, released a year after the movie in 1998. This begs the question over whether or not this new movie will simply be an adaptation of the book, a sequel to the book itself, or maybe an attempt to retcon the book from the main timeline of movies. Judging from the title Good Burger 2, this new movie seems to be reaffirming itself to be a true sequel to the original movie, however that's just what I think of it. It could very easily build off the plot of the novel without making it a requirement to read beforehand to enjoy the movie, as well. Contrasting Ed's luxurious new existence, Dexter himself would likely live a simpler life. Since his character is more grounded, it would make sense for him to eventually leave Good Burger and pursue other jobs as he grew older. He may or may not have married and started a family with Monique after the events of the first film, however I for one would like that to happen, as they have been shown to have great chemistry and would be a waste to have them go separate ways. This also calls for concern over who exactly in the original cast will be returning. Besides Monique, I doubt that every employee will come back for the sequel, what with a few of the original actors having sadly passed away and Dan Cheater being a sick freak. If I were to put my money anywhere, I would say Fizz and Shaquille O'Neal would be the only returning side characters, and that is still a very unsure prediction. While this is many a thoughts on a plot based on the aftermath of the first movie, it could also be written to be a prequel of some sorts. The first thought that comes to mind would be an origin story for the main characters and the restaurant Good Burger's grand opening. However, as stated above, it may not be possible to land with many of the original actors out of the picture. Not only that, but the actors that are available are still far too old to play younger variations of themselves from 30 years ago. All of this considered is why I believe a prequel would go into the lives of a Dexter and Ed from a previous incarnation in which society and humanity are socially and technologically similar or further advanced than our current world. This way the actors would have an excuse to look older before the events of the initial movie, as they are simply older versions of their past selves. It would also add on to the lore and establish some sort of bond between the characters, more so if a past workforce at Good Burger had to fight a group that paralleled Mondo Burger, which would put into perspective a timeless rivalry between the two restaurants. That being said, I also understand if such a route would be deemed too sci-fi for the franchise and thus not be implemented, but it would still be pretty cool. One final thing I wanted to discuss is the possible rating. While Good Burger is produced by Nickelodeon, that doesn't mean it could be entirely kid-friendly. A sequel to something like Good Burger holds unlimited potential on social commentaries and important morals even adults could learn from. It would also be a nice contrast between films, where the more colorful, whimsical comedy of the first movie gets toned down for a more mature, philosophical take on the flaws of capitalism and corporate rivalries stemmed from great through the use of the same characters aged up in partaking in adult life. This is just speculation though, so please don't start a war in the comments please. That's about all I have to say for the moment. We are still very early into the news cycle of Good Burger 2, but I am still very excited that the movie is being made and will definitely keep you updated on further announcements. Thank you all for watching. Bye bye.